Nutrition is a big part of sport, isn't it? And it's the latest superfood endorsed by bloggers and celebrities, yet it contains more saturated fat than lard. It is coconut oil, and is it really all it's cracked up to be?
Well, the first human trial comparing its health benefits with that of butter and olive oil has been carried out in the UK. The results are surprising. Professor Katie Kaur from Cambridge University, where this study was located, joins us from our London newsroom, and dietitian Nicola Ludlam-Raine is here in the studio. Morning, both. Thank you very much for joining us. Katie Kaur, first of all, just tell us, what have you found?
Good morning. Well, we were rather surprised because coconut oil, as you know, is 95% saturated fat. And we were expecting it to raise LDL cholesterol, which is the bad cholesterol that is thought to increase risk of heart disease. But in this short-term trial, we found that, in fact, it didn't raise LDL cholesterol compared to butter and was very similar to olive oil. The other surprising finding was that it seemed to raise HDL cholesterol, which is the good cholesterol, in comparison to both olive oil and butter.
OK, and so what does that mean for all of us? I mean, it has been recommended in lots of sort of new cookbooks and all the rest of it. What does that mean for people who use coconut oil, for example?
Well, I think it means that we don't necessarily have to stop using it because if we're concerned about health. But it doesn't, I don't think, change current dietary recommendations in terms of being prudent to limit saturated fat. But what it does point to is the need to have much more evidence on all the new foods that are being introduced into our diets. We're using lots of different oils, such as coconut oil, soybean oil, palm oil, that we know very little about the health effects of, and we need far more studies to examine what is going on. I think the other thing it also points to is that most recommendations are now focused on health patterns, dietary patterns, if we're interested in health, rather than just specific foods.
Nicola, on the studio table here, we've got some coconut oil, some olive oil and some butter. I mean, coconut oil's got a lovely whiff to it, isn't it? And it's very sort of trendy to use at the moment. Yeah. As a dietitian, if I was to offer you one of these three to go home and cook with tonight, which one would you take and why?
So coconut oil definitely is trendy, and I completely agree with Professor Kaur. The one that I would choose, though, for heart health is the olive oil. And what we're trying to get the message across is that olive oil, unsaturated fat, is best for heart health. And a practical recommendation is to have two different types of olive oil in your cupboards. The more refined one, which is the yellow one, which is good for cooking, and then the extra virgin olive oil, the green one, which is good for salad dressings and pasta sauces. And it does say that on the label.
Now, but were you surprised then that what the findings said about coconut oil, that actually it didn't, as Professor was saying, it didn't actually affect cholesterol level as maybe people expected that it might? It's
really interesting research, but what we have to keep in mind that it's a relatively small study, so there was only 30 participants in each of the groups. The study wasn't controlled, so we don't know what other foods the participants were eating, and it was a relatively short duration, so it only lasted for 4 weeks.
OK, so Professor, will you be looking further into it? Is that what you'd like to do?
Yes, I think what this highlights is how important it is to understand a lot more about the foods we eat, and that the whole story about fats is far more nuanced. In the past, it used to be don't eat a lot of fat, then it was saturated fats, but I think now the evidence is increasingly clear that different sorts of saturated fatty acids, which may have different health effects, and they have to be taken in the context of the whole diet.
Because the NHS recommendations still would say olive oil, which is what you're saying as well. And is that simply because it's unsaturated rather than saturated?
Exactly. And the benefits of olive oil go beyond the effects of cholesterol. So it's got an anti-inflammatory property to it as well. So the government recommendations are indeed to limit saturated fat to 20 grams a day. And on the basis of this one small study, the evidence, the research won't be changing national guidelines.
And what does 20 grams look like then? If you don't know...
It's about a tablespoon of coconut oil.
Right.
A tablespoon of olive oil has only got 2 grams of saturated fat in it.
OK,
so
right.
A lot smaller amount.
But quite a few people have been getting in contact today saying somebody used coconut oil to brush their teeth.
Yep.
Somebody to take makeup off. And some people give it to their dogs as well.
If it's good for your hair and skin, keep it to that, but put olive oil inside your body for now.
Professor, thank you very much, and also thank you very much, Nicola. Thanks both. Thank you.
Those olive oil producers I was telling you about,
well, they're very annoyed with you.
They'll be happy with your with your guidance. Thank you very much.
If you want more information on the actual study itself, it's going to feature on Trust Me, I'm a Doctor tomorrow evening, 8:30 on BBC Two, or you can catch up on iPlayer as well.
Have you got that faint whiff of coconut?
No, but I've got a cold.
Oh,
Sorry, everybody.
We could be on a tropical island. But Carol can tell us that we're quite clearly not. Good morning, Carol.